The vast majority of numbers you see on the internet aren't real. The accounts that you interact with, the posts that you see, oftentimes aren't even made by a human being on the other side of the keyboard. The cyberspace is dominated by bots. And unless you've just woken up from a coma, this isn't news to you. Everybody knows that now. It's an accepted part of cruising the World Wide Web that the shit you see is artificially inflated. And it's become a huge yapping point, a massive topic, specifically dead internet theory, and diving even deeper into the minutia of bots. Cannonballing into the deep end of the pool, you will find viewbots, a topic that often gets very aggressive and accusatory because it is so prevalent across streams, in particular on Twitch, on YouTube, on Kick. Streamers of all shapes and sizes are often using viewbots to boost their numbers. It's not some big conspiracy, it's not deep state propaganda or anything like that. It is a provable, real thing that platforms just don't seem to be taking any real action on at all. I could right now go live on Twitch openly stating I'm viewbotting it out the wazoo to fucking 20k viewers, and maybe the worst that would happen is I get like a 24-hour suspension from Twitch. They don't care. They made that push like a year ago about getting bots off the platform, but that lasted for what, 2 fucking days? And then they took like a catastrophic hit to their overall viewer metrics, and I guess they pumped the brakes because at the end of the day, and this is something people say a lot, and it is true, those huge numbers are good for Twitch as well to advertisers, even if the numbers are fake, even if they know it's botted, phony baloney, fraudulent viewer metrics. It doesn't matter. It makes them more appealing to brands. So it seems like they are very hands-off when it comes to doling out big punishment for viewbots. It's not exactly a well-kept secret. It's pretty out there in the open that tons of streamers viewbot. Now, the reason why I'm yapping about it again is because just yesterday, or maybe it was even earlier today, I don't know, time moves in a weird fucking fashion once you hit your 30s. Everything blends together, your bones fucking creak anytime you walk up or down stairs. Anyway, though, I'll stop bitching and whining about that. I know you're not here to listen to me play a sad song on the world's smallest violin about my deteriorating cartilage. The CEO of Night Media, Reed, came forward with a post out of nowhere saying that it's time to start viewbotting. That's the title of the post, which is a eye-catching title, no doubt. Very seldom will you hear someone in that kind of position just say the quiet part out loud here about success in the streaming space. And make no mistake, Night Media is fucking huge. They are one of the top dogs in the YouTuber streamer agency space. They are huge in the industry. They represented Mr. Beast for a while. I don't know if they still do, but they have represented and still actively represent massive creators. So it was certainly interesting to see him with a post like this that makes it seem like he's out there saying, everyone's got a viewbot, we got to open Pandora's box. If you're not pooping, you're farting. If you're not using viewbots, you're at a disadvantage. Wake the fuck up, samurai. Time to get viewbots on the horn. But reading the post, it's a little bit different, though ultimately his tone around viewbots does seem to be somewhat positive. What does it take to cut through all the noise on the internet? If everyone else is botting, why shouldn't you? We used to live in a world where if you made great content, algorithms would find an audience for your videos. Now, creators have to clip farm, pay clippers, and sometimes even viewbot to have a better chance of capturing more attention and breaking through the noise. This is especially true on platforms like Twitch, where viewbotting can surface you on the front page of popular streaming categories. Off rip, this is some turbo doomer shit because it kind of positions it as like your only option if you're just getting started. Oh, there used to be a time where if you made great content, you could get found, but those times are way behind us in the shitter now. It's gone. That's an era long forgotten, like the saber-toothed tiger. Now, if you want to cut through the noise, you gotta clip farm, pay clippers, or Lord help us, even viewbot. You gotta get down and dirty in the pig pen. It's the only way. Well, that's not true. You can still make great content and get found. It does happen. I think the best example of that is Queso. I would be shocked to learn Queso viewbotted at any point in his life. I don't even think the guy could find a viewbot website or provider. I genuinely don't think he would even know where to begin with something like that. And he has blown up solely because he makes good content. He cut through the noise. And this is something I've always said, luck is a huge part of it. It is. It just is. But what he is right about is that in the current day and age, there is an alternative that doesn't rely as much on RNG, and that is pay to win. You can stand a better chance of standing out in the oversaturation of content creation by paying for viewbots to float your stream to the top of categories, or pay for viewbots on other socials where you're spamming clips from your streams so you could boost up numbers on, a wacky moment or something and have it like explode elsewhere because you inflated the numbers through viewbots, so then people could find your stream and maybe organically grow it that way, but you still viewbotted in order to boost a clip that led people to the stream. Like, there are paths that don't rely as much on luck, because if you just have money to start and just start buying views, it does help put you in front of more eyes. It's something that's very common, especially on Twitter. But at the end of the day, I just don't like this mentality that Reed kind of encapsulates here of, well, everyone else is cheating, so I should too. And he's trying to make like a strong argument that everyone else is doing it. Content alone, it could be the most slapping, banging content ever. It's not good enough. It's all about the distribution method now, which is dominated through bots and shit like that. So really, you got to think about this strategy of using bots. I just don't like how he's positioning bots as a strategy instead of calling it what it really is, which is cheating. Like, yes, you can gamify the distribution and shit through bots. Everyone fucking knows that. But I just don't think it's something that should be outwardly encouraged. And it's really weird that the CEO of Night Media, one of the biggest agencies in the space, especially for streamers, is having this kind of viewpoint. Like, his title isn't exactly indicative of his thoughts, because he does say, like, this is a problem, this is an exploit, but he speaks about it like, this exploit exists, so you have to use this now. It's like, you really should, like, almost that it's a necessity. And I just don't like that perspective, nor that mentality. I just think there's a reason why this topic on viewbots is always so passionate from so many people, because viewbots fucking suck. Nobody likes that. It is just a completely dog shit norm right now. And I don't think it needs to be even more normalized. But it's not some requirement or anything like that. Reed then goes on to make a mention of advertisers and viewbots. Do advertisers have any way of tracking botted engagement, and why isn't Twitch cracking down on this at all? Those are two really good questions. The answer to do advertisers have a way of tracking botted engagement is a big nobody fucking knows. My gut tells me there's no way advertisers would have any clue, because how would they? How would they distinguish between authentic and real viewers through just a number plastered on a stream? It'd be entirely on Twitch to take care of the bots and get that number to be where it's like the authentic viewers and not just like, fraudulent ones. I don't see how they could ever possibly know what's real and what's fake based on just the publicly available information, and I doubt Twitch is behind the scenes saying, okay, so your advertisement was played in front of 1 million concurrent viewers over the course of this campaign. Of that, about 15K were real human beings. We really appreciate your business. Like, I highly doubt that fucking happens, right? Like, it doesn't happen on a streamer basis with sponsors either. So, like, if a streamer is botting his stream up to, like, 5K, but really he only has, like, 1,000 real viewers there, and he works with a brand, and he sells to this brand at the 5K concurrent viewers, he's making a lot of extra money versus if he sold at his real 1K, and now the brand gets put in front of what they believe is 5,000 people, but is actually 4,000 bots with only 1,000 real people there. So maybe the campaign only sees them make like 3 fucking sales. Like, man, Perry Poutine Gotcha Game only got 3 clicks through this guy's stream, even though he has 5K concurrent viewers. What's going on here? And then you can maybe speculate and surmise that, okay, he's botting. But then you'd also never really know for sure, because you could also say like, okay, maybe his community's just not interested in this gotcha game. These brands, I don't think have any idea, is the point I'm making. I don't see how they would. It's entirely on Twitch to combat the bots, and I don't think there's a way or a tool that these brands have access to that normal people don't, that lets them see real versus fake viewers. And then to Reed's second question about why does Twitch not crack down on it, I think everyone knows, because Twitch also benefits from these hugely inflated numbers. They see a lot of upside to these massive numbers being housed on Twitch. I think that's pretty clear. Probably don't need to dive any deeper on that. And it is something that he starts to tackle in his next section here about platforms needing to take action. He goes on to talk about, how prevalent the botting problem is, as well as the reluctance from platforms to act on it, believing that the more views there are, the better things look for advertisers, which many people agree with. And again, that probably is the simple truth of it. If these numbers are huge, the platforms are probably very happy because then it's more appealing to advertisers. It could end up with more money to the platform itself. I think it really is that simple. Now, it's this section that ties directly into the eye-catching title that he used here for this piece. If everyone else is doing it, should you? I would never explicitly say you should bot your views on Twitch, other than in the title of this article. But the reality is, if you're not viewbotting and everyone else is, you're at a disadvantage. When you're competing in a category where you're buried if you don't have 500 plus viewers, maybe shifting your strategy to paying clippers and buying bots helps a streamer break through. I wanted to see what it would cost to bot a stream, and for $180 a week on Viewbotter, I can get 1,500 followers, 225 chatters, and 750 concurrent viewers. Not bad for less than $800 a month, and these companies accept crypto payments. So he's saying that he's not actively advocating for viewbotting your channel, but if you're not, well, you got your own dick in your butt. Like, everyone around you is doing it. Maybe you should shift your strategy. I don't know. To me, that feels like he is advocating for it. Maybe I'm on the crack pipe. He's pointing out a real problem, that these platforms don't enforce it, so the precedent has been set that there's no actual consequences. But it does seem like he's saying you really should viewbot your streams if you want to succeed. And he does prop it up as a legitimate strategy and even insinuates that it's not like super expensive, saying, not bad for less than $800 a month. Look at this huge head start you can get. Really should be something to consider. And I get it. It is something that people obviously consider and pull the trigger on, no doubt. But it's not exactly something that I think should be encouraged either. It sucks. It is a bad practice. And there's a reason why this is such a big topic, because people don't like viewbotters. It's not something that I think should be talked about in a manner that feels like it's positive and encouraging, and even setting it up as maybe even your only option if you want to stand out, because as Reed said multiple times, good content isn't good enough. You got to really consider distribution, and distribution viewbots can really do wonders for. I don't know. To me, it just rubs me the wrong way. He then closes by talking about viewbot detection and how Twitch CEO mentioned it's a game of cat and mouse, and that really there's not a whole lot of great information that he could find on how brands can detect viewbots or anything like that. And then he finishes the big takeaway. We've entered an era where good content alone isn't enough, distribution tactics are. When clipping, paid amplification, and even bots can artificially push you up the rankings, the playing field starts to tilt toward whoever is willing to game it. Twitch's detection tools feel reactive at best, and advertisers don't seem to have a reliable way to verify what's real. If botting becomes normalized, creators face a brutal question. Compete clean and risk invisibility, or bend the rules to survive. Long term, though, this erodes trust in the entire ecosystem. Again, he drives that point home about good content alone isn't enough. It's all about distribution tactics, and I just firmly disagree. Good content alone is sometimes enough. But again, it does take luck. It does. It always has, and it always will. Distribution tactics, though, he's right, can be gamified and boost your shit and immediately give you a better chance, so you're not overly reliant on luck. If you'd rather focus instead on pay-to-win mechanics through clippers and viewbots and stuff like that, then you would be entering the Thunderdome competing head-to-head, toe-to-toe with countless others who are doing that daily. That is very, very common. And in many, many cases, it's hard to tell if it's real or fake. So it is a legitimate problem, and it sucks that platforms don't do anything about it. He's not wrong about the core, that there is a huge problem because these platforms don't crack down on viewbots. Now everyone fucking does it, it seems. And it fucking blows. And I imagine he's right that it is a very real consideration for tons of streamers. Well, why would I even bother trying to do this legitimately when everyone else is fucking cheating? Everyone else is viewbotting, so why wouldn't I? And it's hard to argue, because it's morally correct to, play fair. It would be hard to make someone be like, okay, then I'll do that and go nowhere unless I get fucking crazy lucky. When the alternative is apparently cheap view bots that give them a better chance. It's something that he's not wrong about in his assessment here. Again, I just find it weird that it feels like he's speaking on it like almost positively, like you're at a huge disadvantage, you really need to think about this strategy that actually isn't all that expensive if you want to compete on an even playing field. Because at the end of the day, I don't think viewbots are something that should be encouraged. I don't think it should be twisted to the point where people consider viewbots like a strategy as opposed to just cheating. Because viewbots are bad for everyone. There's a reason why it's such a passionate topic for so many people. Because it sucks. It sucks for the people that aren't doing it, and it sucks for viewers too. Like, viewbots are just shitty overall, like, genuinely. So, like, it's not something that I'd like to see more people start being like, yeah, let's start really thinking about doing more viewbotting, as if there's not already enough. So, anyway, this was a very interesting post, to say the least, and I just wanted to yap about it. That's really about it. See ya.